Here is something almost nobody tells you, and it might be the single biggest reason garlic has never worked as well for you as you hoped it would. If you eat raw garlic every day thinking you are doing something powerful for your circulation, you are absolutely right to believe that. But there is one small, completely invisible mistake that most people make in the very first 10 seconds of preparing it. And that one mistake alone can quietly cut away most of the benefit before you ever even take a bite. The part you are missing is exactly the part that determines whether your body actually produces more nitric oxide, or whether you are simply eating garlic for nothing more than the taste. Welcome back to Wellness Daily. This channel exists for one simple reason: to take real nutrition science and explain it in plain, honest language that actually makes sense. No fear tactics, no miracle claims, no products to sell you. Just what the research actually says and how you can use it, starting tonight in your own kitchen. By the end of this video, you are going to understand one small daily habit that can help you get dramatically more out of the garlic you are already eating. Something that research suggests may help support up to 10 times more of a specific compound your body needs for healthy nitric oxide production. Stay with me all the way to the end, because I am going to walk you through 3 different ways to use this, including one specifically for people who find raw garlic too sharp, too strong, or too harsh on their stomach. That third one might genuinely be the one that fits your life best. Let me start with the part almost nobody explains clearly, without a wall of complicated words that leave you more confused than when you started. Inside your body right now, there is a molecule called nitric oxide. Picture your blood vessels like a garden hose. When that hose is soft, flexible, and open, water flows through smoothly, with no strain and no pressure building anywhere along the line. That is essentially what nitric oxide does for your blood vessels. It helps keep the walls relaxed and open, so blood can move freely, oxygen and nutrients can travel where they need to go without resistance, and your heart does not have to work overtime pushing blood through a system that has become stiff and narrow. Your brain gets what it needs to stay sharp and alert. Your muscles get what they need to keep you moving through your day. Your entire circulatory system runs the way it was designed to run, quietly and efficiently, in the background of everything you do. As the years go by, the body naturally tends to produce somewhat less of this molecule. This is a well-recognized part of how blood vessels age. It is one of the reasons steady energy, comfortable blood pressure, and that overall feeling of vitality can seem just a little harder to hold on to later in life than it once was. It is not dramatic, and it does not happen all at once. It is quiet and gradual, which is exactly why almost nobody notices it until they are already feeling the effects of it. Here is the good part, and I mean this honestly. Nitric oxide production is not something fixed that only ever fades away with no way back. It responds to what you actually put into your body. It responds to movement, to sleep, and very directly, to specific compounds found in real, ordinary food. And one of the most interesting, most studied, and most accessible of those foods is something almost every one of us already keeps in the kitchen: the humble clove of garlic. Raw garlic contains a compound called alliin. On its own, sitting quietly inside a whole, unbroken clove, alliin does very little. It is essentially inactive, just waiting there. But garlic also contains an enzyme called allinase, and this enzyme is the real key to everything. When garlic is crushed, chopped, or chewed, and the cell walls are physically broken open, allin and allinase finally come into contact with one another for the very first time. That contact triggers a chemical reaction that produces a new compound called allicin, and allicin is the star of the entire show. Allicin, along with the other sulfur compounds that form from it, has been studied for its supportive role in healthy blood vessel function and in the body's ability to generate nitric oxide. Here is where almost every single video that tells you to eat more garlic for your health stops short, right at the exact point that actually determines whether you get any real benefit at all. Stay with me here, because what comes next changes everything about how you should be preparing this one simple ingredient. If you have been eating raw or cooked garlic for months, maybe even years, hoping for better circulation and steadier energy, and you genuinely have not noticed much of a difference, this next part is very likely why. That allicin-forming reaction I just described does not happen instantly. It needs a small window of time to fully develop, roughly 10 minutes after the garlic has been crushed or chopped, before heat or acid is introduced. Here is the mistake almost everyone makes without ever realizing it. Most people crush or chop their garlic, and within seconds, straight into a hot pan it goes. The moment that garlic hits high heat, the allinase enzyme is deactivated almost immediately. If that happens before allicin has had the chance to fully form, a meaningful portion of garlic's most valuable compound may never actually get created in the first place. You end up eating garlic that has all the flavor, but only a fraction of what it was capable of giving you. This is a genuinely well-established idea in food science. The enzyme responsible for activating garlic's beneficial sulfur compounds is heat-sensitive, and studies looking specifically at allicin formation have found that allowing crushed garlic to rest before it is heated allows meaningfully more of that compound to form, compared to crushing it and cooking it immediately. So if you have been chopping your garlic and tossing it directly into a hot pan within seconds, thinking you were doing everything right, you may only be getting a small piece of what that garlic actually had to offer you. Let us fix that right now. Here is the simple shift. Crush or finely chop your garlic, and then simply let it rest on the cutting board for about 10 minutes before you cook it, or before you eat it raw. That short waiting period is the entire secret. It gives the allicin and the allinase enzyme enough time to fully react and form as much allicin as that clove is capable of producing. Here is roughly what happens inside that resting garlic during those 10 minutes. Once the cell walls are broken by crushing or chopping, the two components that were previously kept apart inside separate compartments of the cell finally meet. Picture two chemicals sitting on opposite sides of a locked door, unable to reach each other until that door is broken open. The moment you crush the clove, that door opens, and the reaction can finally begin. Give it time, and the reaction goes further. Rush it into the heat too early, and you slam a second door shut before the first reaction even had the chance to finish. There is something else that can help even further, and that is pairing your rested, crushed garlic with a small amount of vitamin C. Vitamin C has itself been studied for its own supportive role in healthy blood vessel function, and some research suggests it may help support the body's broader nitric oxide pathway as well. A little fresh lemon juice or a handful of vitamin C-rich vegetables served alongside your garlic may be quietly supporting your circulation from two directions at the very same time, the allicin from the garlic and the vitamin C working together. For your circulation specifically, this small 10-minute habit is associated with meaningfully more of garlic's active compound actually forming in the first place, which means more of it is available for your body to use in support of healthy nitric oxide production, relaxed blood vessels, and the kind of everyday vascular support that your muscles, your brain, and your organs quietly rely on hour after hour. And I want to be completely honest with you here. This is a real, food-based habit, grounded in genuine food science about how garlic's compounds are actually formed. It is not a guaranteed medical fix, and the idea of 10 times more benefit reflects the difference researchers have observed in allicin formation when garlic is rested before cooking, not a promise about how any single person's body will respond. It works best as one small part of an overall healthy way of eating, not as a replacement for anything your own doctor has already recommended for you. Let me give you a simple way to picture the difference this one small change can make. Imagine two people, similar age, similar overall diet, both eating garlic regularly because they have heard it is good for their health. One of them crushes their garlic and tosses it straight into a hot pan within seconds, exactly the way they always have. The other starts crushing their garlic and simply letting it sit on the cutting board for 10 quiet minutes before it ever touches heat. Same garlic, same frequency. The only variable between the two of them is that one small pause. And based on everything we currently understand about how allicin actually forms, it is entirely reasonable to expect that the second person is getting meaningfully more of what that garlic has to offer, simply because their body has more of the active compound available to work with. That is really the whole point of this video. It was never about eating more garlic. It is about making the garlic you are already eating actually count. Now let me give you 3 simple, practical ways to put this into action starting tonight. No special equipment, nothing expensive, just real food, used the right way. The first method is the most direct, and honestly the easiest one to start tonight. Take 2 or 3 cloves of garlic and crush them with the flat side of a knife, or run them through a garlic press. Spread the crushed garlic out on your cutting board, and simply let it rest for 10 minutes before you do anything else with it. While it rests, go ahead and prepare the rest of your meal. Once the 10 minutes are up, add it to your dish as you normally would, whether that is stirring it into a warm sauce, tossing it through vegetables, or folding it into a dressing. That single 10-minute pause is the entire habit, and once you build it into your routine, it becomes completely automatic. The second method works beautifully for anyone who finds raw garlic a little too sharp or too harsh on an empty stomach. Crush your garlic and let it rest the same 10 minutes, then combine it with a small squeeze of fresh lemon juice, a drizzle of olive oil, and a pinch of sea salt. The lemon juice here is not just for flavor. Vitamin C is itself a nutrient that supports healthy blood vessel function, so it is a genuinely nice complement to what the garlic is already doing on its own. Spoon this gently over grilled vegetables, over a warm bowl of soup right before serving, or stir it through a simple bowl of rice. It keeps in the refrigerator for about a day, so you can prepare it once in the morning and have it ready by dinner without any extra effort. The third method is for anyone who finds raw garlic too intense in any form, even after resting it. Crush your garlic, let it rest the full 10 minutes as always, and then add it to your dish only at the very end of cooking, during the last minute or two, rather than at the beginning alongside everything else. This still allows the resting window to happen fully before any heat is introduced, but the shorter cooking time afterward keeps the flavor gentler and softer on the stomach, while still preserving far more of what that resting period created in the first place. This version works wonderfully, stirred into soups, stews, or a warm plate of vegetables just before you take it off the stove. Here is what I genuinely want you to walk away with today. Your body's ability to support healthy nitric oxide production and healthy circulation is not something fixed that only ever fades away with no way back. It responds in a real and meaningful way to what you actually give it, and sometimes to something as small as a 10-minute pause on a cutting board. Real food, prepared the way nature and basic food science actually work together, can make a genuine difference over time, quietly, consistently, in the background of your everyday life. This was never about fear. It was never about some expensive supplement you suddenly need to go out and buy. It is about one small, completely free adjustment to a habit you may already have, using something that has probably been sitting in your kitchen the entire time, just a little more effectively than before. Before we wrap up, one honest note. This video is for general educational purposes, and it reflects current food science on how garlic's beneficial compounds are formed and absorbed. It is not medical advice, and it is not a substitute for guidance from your own doctor, especially if you already have a cardiovascular condition, if you are taking prescription medication, or if you have any other diagnosed health condition. Please check with your physician before making any significant changes to your diet. If this gave you something useful today, take 2 seconds and hit the thumbs up on this video. It genuinely helps this information reach more people who could use it. And if you have not already, go ahead and subscribe to Wellness Daily so you never miss the next video. We publish practical, research-grounded content just like this every single week, and it is entirely built around giving you real, usable information you can actually act on. Drop a comment down below and let me know, are you going to try letting your garlic rest for 10 minutes tonight? And if you already cook with garlic every day, tell me how you usually prepare it, because I read every single comment, and it genuinely shapes what we cover next here on Wellness Daily. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.